All right, good morning. Now, it should be Monday, now that you're watching this, hopefully. So you should have taken your vocab quiz. Now, if you only got half credit on it, it's because you did not pay attention to the directions. You guys have got to listen to what I tell you, and if you forget, come back and watch this again. But you were supposed to take your vocabulary quiz during class time on Friday, and some of you guys skipped out. So if that's the case, or not your vocab quiz, it's your regular quiz. If that's the case and you skipped out, you're getting half credit on it. Because that way I can watch you during class period, make sure you're not cheating or pulling up your note sets or whatever on your Chromebooks. But some of you guys didn't listen, so you lose half points. That's kind of your own fault for not following the directions. So that being said, here is this week for you guys as seventh graders. You have your note set today, which we're going to finish. So for those of you who were confused as to why we didn't finish them the other day, you didn't listen to the video. I told you what we were going to do. I told you that we were going to finish these things and do them, a little bit at a time. So we didn't do a whole bunch at one shot. So you have notes set today. Tomorrow is a vocabulary quiz. Vocabulary quiz will be over the words in Quizlet that we have already covered, and I am going to take a picture of your vocabulary words from the board that are underlined, and I'm going to attach them to today's assignment. So again, if you go, I don't know which words they are, you're not listening to me now. You've got to pay attention to these things. I mean, we worked in week 2 of week 3, maybe more. The, the onus of responsibility here has got to be on you guys to pay attention. So it's words that we've covered already. I'm not throwing any new words in. It's tomorrow. So you will pop into Zoom. I will tell you directions again, and you'll go right to taking the quiz. So you got to show up tomorrow on time, or you're not going to get full credit on your vocabulary quiz. And it is due that day. Wednesday, no school. Don't check in. Enjoy the day off. Thank a veteran. Thursday, we'll do another note set. Friday will be an activity based on what we talk about on Thursday. So again, follow your directions. So here's the rest of your note set. Let me jump to it, bump out of here. Let me fix this thing here. Keep me there. All right. So let's go to your vocabulary, not your vocabulary, your note set. Gotta go to my drive. Gotta find where the heck I am. There's your music as I'm waiting for this thing to go. I don't have any other songs to sing. Getting there slowly. Was it Roman expansion? Sounds good to me. Open with you googly slides. Let's double check. There's my buddy Carthage. Okay, so we already talked about all of this stuff, that Carthage was a place in Africa that challenged Rome. They and Rome had this series of wars called the Punic Wars. First one was over Sicily, and Carthage lost. Second one, and this is for Carter because she said she missed the first part. So Carter, there you go. There you go. There you go. All right, Carter. Got it? Okay, I hope so. All right, anyways, don't put me up here, so I'm kind of looking more at the screen. Okay, so they had this war with Carthage. You watched the first video. Rome wins the first one. Carthage says, nope, we got to have round 2. They got to have that rematch. And so they do. So this time round is by this guy named Hannibal. Hannibal, as we said, not the crazy serial killer guy, but instead the son of Hannibal, Hamilcar Barca, who had a blood oath against Rome. So then you watch that second part, and the big thing to take away from these is the idea that even though Carthage was smaller, they were able to be really successful against Rome because they used Greek tactics, like the Battle of Cannae. The Battle of Cannae, as we said, they used this little, you call it a horseshoe, you call it a half moon, whatever you want, but whatever, they suckered Rome into coming in here and then closed in on them. So that was a big defeat for them. The fact that they used elephants being like tanks, and Rome was able to just, or Rome wasn't, but Carthage was able to really take it to Rome and get to their gates. So Rome, as your videos will tell you, their leaders, they go at Carthage, they go against Carthage, they run away from Carthage. They just can't find anybody who's really going to do a good enough job. So in comes this guy named Scipio. Scipio. I know it sounds weird. He's not skipping. It's just Scipio, not Scipio. Scipio. So anyway, Scipio was a Roman general. Here, Carter, I'll move this for you too, so you don't complain. There you go, girl. All right, so he was a Roman general himself. So you cycle through a bunch of generals when you have wars, especially if they're not doing a good job. A great example of that would be the American Civil War, when Lincoln had several guys in the Civil War. Trying to think real quickly who he started off with. Started off with George McClellan, had a couple other guys, and they fell apart. He finally found the right one in U.S. Grant, who turned the war around for him. Ohio guy. Shout out to Cincinnati and Ohio and Grant. But anyways, so now you find this guy named Scipio, and he says, all right, so A, let's not necessarily put all our forces to defend Rome. B, let's not go against Hannibal. Let's make him go home. And so remember, Carthage is in Africa. So with them going to Africa and taking the fight to them, then what it does is it forces Hannibal to come home because he's got to defend Carthage. And so that's what he does. And so kind of a wise move by Scipio is how to get rid of your opponent? Well, make them leave. Find a way to get them to return home, and you do work. There's my bell. Fries are done. So at the Battle of Zama, Carthage got defeated. Now, this was big because Carthage hadn't been defeated in many battles at all. And one of the issues that Hannibal has is that he's losing troops. He's losing troops. He's not gaining a lot. He's losing resources. He had to come home. And he's also losing his elephants. So at this point, the Battle of Zama, Carthage ends up having to give up their territory in Spain, which is a big win for Rome because that's what they were looking for in the first place. Carthage also lost its navy, and they had to pay a large fine, usually at the end of any battle, not necessarily war just yet, but battles. Sometimes you have to pay your retribution to the group that you lost against. So that's what Carthage has to do here. So now what happens is Rome rules Western Mediterranean area by getting rid of Carthage, or at least getting rid of Hannibal in their area and forcing him back home. And that's what they're trying to do. Remember, our end goal is to have Rome become an empire. And, one of the main things is you have to get rid of the people who are going to go against you. So Carthage has been beaten for the second time. End of really the Punic Wars. But like any group that Rome conquers, we talked about this, they're allowed to remain a trading center. Just bow the knee to Rome, don't be a problem, and then, we can forgive and we won't forget, I suppose, but we can forgive you for that. So Carthage does remain that trading center that they were for the time being. But the problem is that Hannibal doesn't give up. And Rome was like, yeah, we'll give you a chance to be a part of us, but the idea that Hannibal was still out there, it's causing problems. They didn't kill him. They didn't get rid of him yet. And Rome finally just says, you know what? Let's just make a point of it. There's an old saying that you can have addition by subtraction. So in other words, sometimes if you get rid of something, then it'll actually be an addition to you. And I often say that with like bad friends and family members and things like that. If they're bringing you down and not helping you out, if it doesn't give you joy, as the lady says on Netflix, they get rid of it. So anyways, so they end up burning Carthage to the ground and enslaving 50,000 people. I know you're like, dude, that's a big changeover from offering them, friendship to now doing that. But, sometimes you got to prove a point. And so by using this as an example, Rome can say to other people, don't do what Carthage did, or else this is what's going to happen to you. And well, kind of that is what happened. So 50,000 people get enslaved, and legend says it that not only did they burn Carthage to the ground and enslave the people, but they spread salt all over the field so nothing would ever grow. And I think this picture is right. Yeah, there's a picture of what remains of Carthage. So yeah, they pretty much got decimated and leveled by Rome. So really there is no Carthage. I mean, there are cities there today, but not, Carthage is done. They've been enslaved, their army's defeated, and nothing is left for their fields and such. So you really just got clobbered by the Romans. So at this point, Rome really has nobody who's standing in their way, and Rome becomes the real true power. So in the end, before you get to your video here, which is I want to say about 8 more minutes, basically covering what I just talked about here. You see the picture down below here, the Mort de Hannibal, which means the death of Hannibal. So Hannibal, in the end, he still lives for a long period of time. He kind of travels around the lower part of the Roman Empire. He gives talks. He kind of is a celebrity, I suppose. He's this guy who defeated Rome. Well, eventually it's going to come to him because Rome's going to send out assassins to just take this guy out. Even though at this point in his age, he really does not, he's not really any kind of threat for Rome at all. But at the same time, you can't let this guy live. You can't let him be a legend and then get fire people up, or get them fired up. And so as the assassins close in on Hannibal, the legend is that he took his own life by poison. So he knew the assassins were coming. So thus ends Hannibal and Carthage. So also what I'm going to attach to this today is I'm going to attach a review of your vocabulary words. I'll put a picture, like I said, of what the vocab words are, and I'll add a little video so you can have a recap of what those things are. So watch the video, see the end of Hannibal, and the rise of Rome and what it will be.